Verse 7. And somebody put it on the verse. So I will recite it 3 times and then you please recite. Devena te hatadhiyo bhavatah prasangat. Sarva shubhopashamanad vimukhindriyaye kurvanti kama shukaleshalavaya dina lobha vibhuta manaso kushalani shashvat devena te hatadhiyo bhavatah prasangat सर्वाशुभोपशमनाद्विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेशलवाय दीना लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शश्वत् देवेन ते हतधियो भवतः प्रसङ्गात् सर्वाशुभोपशमनाद्विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेशलवाय दीना लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शश्वत्. Please recite.
दैवेन ते हतधियो भवतः प्रसङ्गात् सर्वाशुभोपशमनाद्विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेशलवाय धीना लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शाश्वत्. हरे कृष्ण.
दैवेन ते हतधियो भवत प्रसङ्गात् सर्वाशुभोपशमनाद्विमुखेन्द्रियये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेशलवाय दीना लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शाश्वत्.
देवेन ते हतधियो भवत प्रसङ्गात् सर्वाशुभोपशमनाद् विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेश लवाय दीना लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शाश्वत्. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण. दैवेन ते हतधियो भवतः प्रसङ्गात् सर्वाशुभोपशमनाद् विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेशलवाय दीना लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शाश्वत्.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Daivate hata diyo bhavat pashanga sarva subhopasa madad vimukhe drinyaye kurvanti kama sukha klesa lavayadina lobha vibhuta manaso kusalam sasvat.
Anyone else? Okay, so let us read the word-to-word translation. Devena, by fate of misfortune, they, hatadhiyaha, bereft of memory, bhavataha, of you, prasangat, from the topics, sarva, all, Ashubha, inauspicious. Upasamanat, curbing down. Vimukha, turned against. Indriya, senses. Ye, those. Kurvanti, act. Kama, sense gratification. Sukha, happiness. Less. Brief. Lavaya, for a moment only. Dina, poor fellow. Lobha abhibhuta, overwhelmed by greed. Manasah, of one whose mind. Akushalani, inauspicious activities. Sarvat, always. Translation: O my Lord, persons who are bereft of all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of all good senses. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. Purport. The next question is why people are against such inauspicious activities. A chanting and hearing the glories and the pastimes of the Lord, which can bring total freedom from the care and anxieties of material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of the supernatural control due to their offensive activities performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. The Lord's pure devotees, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate persons, and in a missionary spirit, they pursued them into the line of devotional service. Only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuroन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. So this is very nice verse actually. It tells us about how the materialistic people live, and they are so unfortunate because they are so much addicted to these materialistic things what we see in this material world, and that's why they think this is most important things, and they don't care too much about the transcendental activities of the Lord. So translation one more time. Oh my Lord, persons who are bereft of all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate. They are unfortunate because they are away from the chanting and hearing about the glories of the Lord, because these glories are so important that if you glorify the Lord all the time, Lord gets so happy with us. And also, so Brahmaji is continuing his prayers here to the Supreme Lord that these people are engaged in inauspicious activity and they are enjoying the sense gratification for a very little while. If you see the sense gratification, if we see our transcendental life, our eternal life, it's millions and millions of years. So this life, where we enjoy, this is very small actually. And this enjoyment, actually, if we see how much we enjoy, and even we live in material world, how much we enjoy. If you compare that we work so hard for the little enjoyment, a man who goes in the morning, works very, very hard whole day, taking so much responsibility, and he comes home, takes dinner, have sex, sleeps, in the morning, the same routine. So how much enjoyment he got? Very little enjoyment. For that, he works from early morning to late in the evening, 12 hours, 15 hours, just to maintain the family. So it's so hard work. And in return, what we get? Very little pleasure. So these pleasures actually are very, very minimum. So in the purport, Prabhupada is writing that why people are against such activities of chanting and hearing the glories of the pastime. Why people are actually against. Why they don't do it when it is so easy and sublime that people should actually take part in it, but they are not taking part in glorifying the past activities of the Lord. And the Prabhupada is writing here, these activities can bring the total freedom from the care and anxieties of material existence. So actually, this all the material enjoyment gives us lot of anxiety, lot of misfortune, lot of troubles. That's why when people go to Vaikuntha, there is no kuntha, no more anxiety, no more worries. So this material world, that's why this material world is called as kuntha. And when you go to Vaikuntha, when we chant and glorify the Lord, and if the Lord takes us in Vaikuntha, then there is no more worries, no more anxiety. The same thing actually we can get in this material world also. If we take full shelter of Krishna, keep full faith in Him, then we can get that thing also. Like devotees, we see devotees, they perform a devotional service very nicely with their full heart and with full faith in Krishna. Then what happens? They are actually not worried about these things. We can see the life of Srila Prabhupada and all great acharyas, how they were dependent on Krishna. And Krishna provided them everything. Krishna takes charge of their life. So that thing is needed actually in our life, that we give charge of our life to Krishna, and that way Krishna can take care of all the problems. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever you lack, I will provide that. Whatever you have, I preserve it. And whatever you need, I will give it. So that's a Krishna's promise to his devotees. So actually, people work so hard for just little pleasure, that's actually very detrimental for their life. And that's why they go in cycle of birth and death, cycle of birth and death for millions and millions of years. Because it's Prabhupada is writing here, it's their misfortune actually. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of the supernatural control due to their offensive activities. Because they continue the offensive activities, they don't get attraction to Krishna conscious activity, and that's why they suffer. And this is very unfortunate situation. That's a Prabhupada is writing very nicely that lots of pure devotees, they take the compassion. Actually, we all have a compassion of the pure devotees of the Lord. That's why we are in the Prabhupada's moment, that somebody actually we were not eligible for any of the mercy of the Lord, but actually due to the Vaishnava's mercy and Lord's mercy, actually we got Krishna's blessings and we got Srila Prabhupada in our life. And if we follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions seriously, our life is actually great, very sublime life, and we will not have any worries at all. So that's why Prabhupada is writing here that these devotees, they they work in a missionary spirit and try to pursue this kind of materialistic people. That's why they are distributing, taking so much trouble, all the books, transcendental literatures to the people. So at least sometime, whenever they they get little moment, or they when they are in desperate situation, they read even one page or one line, they still their life will get much better. The only by the grace of pure devotees can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. So it needs the grace of the pure devotees. Then only their future can be changed actually. So these unfortunate people can be elevated to the position of the transcendental service. Then they can perform the devotional service of the Lord, because that devotional service of the Lord is very important in our life. So this we are reading chapter 9 now. We started last week actually, and so this chapter is like Brahma's prayers for the creative activities. So in the first few verses up to fifth, from first to fifth, so there was description of the Supreme Lord, that what are the good things in the Lord, that He is the supreme noble objective, which we read. Then we read that the Lord, he dwells in the heart of his devotees. Which devotees? Who hears the glories through his ears. And in one verse, we read that who hears God lots of glory, who smells the aroma of the Lord's lotus feet. So actually, they all the time engage in hearing or smelling the aroma of the Lord's lotus feet. So these are the great qualities of the devotees, how, what they enjoy in this material life. And this enjoyment is great enjoyment, not a temporary enjoyment, it's permanent enjoyment. And the devotees can feel that, the materialistic people who are busy with the sensual pleasures, they will never know about it, or they will never enjoy these kind of things until unless they get the mercy of a pure soul. In the last verse, which we read yesterday, where Prabhupada describes that people are so unfortunate. Why? Because they misidentify their body to they don't understand their soul. They give more importance to their own body. And then once you think about the body all the time, this is my wife, this is my house, this is my car. So this Prabhupada describes as aham mameti, this is me and mine. So this conception once comes, then those kind of people are always in anxiety. They are always busy protecting their body, their wealth, because people have wealth, but we can see rich people, they are all the time worries about how I can protect this money. So thieves will come, the income tax, and all those, so many worries about just keep the protecting the money. And similarly, body, similarly, the friends, society, people think about different things, and they are busy all their life in these things, and they will never think about how I can take shelter of Krishna. So one may ask a question: how one who is involved so much in the family life, how he can possibly serve the lotus feet of the Lord? This is very important question. And Prabhupada, so Brahmaji is replying here in this shloka that pure devotee, even if a devotee who is grahastha devotee, most of the devotees are grahastha actually in our society, we can see that they are always free from the anxiety. Why they are free from the anxiety? Because they have given the responsibility of and the proprietorship of their house, their life, everything to the Supreme Lord. Once you give proprietorship, if you don't feel that you are the proprietor of this, whole thing comes because we think this is mine. If we think that Krishna has given me, let me use it for Krishna service, then there should be no problem. We can see the life of the pure devotees. They never think themselves as the proprietor of their home. And he surrendered everything in the service of the Supreme Lord. And they give whole control there. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur was singing nice song, Manasa Deho Geho, Jo Kachumora, Arpilu Dua Kare, Nanda Kishora. So you give everything, this body, this house, everything, give it to Krishna, and he will take care of that. We can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita also example of Srinivas Pandit. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, Srinivas, how you maintain your family? And then he says, it's all your mercy is here, so I'm getting everything by your mercy. So, and he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suggested, no, you should at least work a little bit, to maintain your family. And he said, I will never work. I will just serve you rather. You are my Supreme Lord and I will serve. So actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promised that even the goddess Lakshmi can start begging. Lakshmi ji has so much money. She is the goddess of the wealth, So when she will never beg, but she said that even the worst condition comes, Lakshmi ji can beg. Still, you will not have any scarcity in your house for everything. So you can see how people are fully dependent on Krishna, who are pure devotees of the Lord, and they have this kind of aim that my job is to only serve the Lord, no one else. And once you start doing that and give responsibility to Krishna, then Krishna will take over and you will not have any scarcity. But we should have that kind of faith, though. That's very important. And once we surrender this kind of ourselves to the Krishna, so we no longer have any attraction to these material things, because we have attraction to material things because we don't have full attraction in Krishna. So once we have fully surrendered to Krishna, then we will not have any attraction to this material wealth or this materialistic life or sense enjoyment, nothing. And we will have full time engaged in the service of the Lord and Lord's devotees. Then there will be no problem. So we can see here that how Brahmaji is saying there's those who do not chant and hear about the Lord are truly unfortunate, because these people are overtaken by sensual desires, because their desires are so strong, because desire never finishes. They are like waves in a river or ocean. This, you cannot finish it. One goes and 10 more comes. So this is the way our life goes. Who, if we don't chant Krishna's name sincerely, and those kind of people are fully controlled by the illusory energy of the Lord. So these kind of people are very hard. For them, it's very hard to overcome the miseries of the life. They will keep suffering. The miseries, if we enjoy this material life, and try to fill up our sensual enjoyment, we will never be satisfied. That's the first thing. The second thing is we will always be unhappy and always be in anxiety, because miseries will continue if we. So these prayers are actually what Brahmaji is putting here in Srimad Bhagavatam for all of us. So we have to learn a lot of things. It gives us a lot of lessons. So from these prayers, because these prayers are full of wisdom, they also teach us the deep truth of the spiritual life. What is the importance of a spiritual life? How we can take it? How hearing and chanting is important for us. So in this also tells us about life in general, how we should pass our life actually, how should we spend our life. So, and it actually teaches us what we should aspire for and what we should not aspire for. So, excuse me, it tells us what we have to avoid in our life. So this is great lessons for all of us, and we should think what is good for us, what is not good for us, and act accordingly. And we have seen in Srimad Bhagavatam also, there are so many examples of people who enjoyed the sensual pleasures all their life, like King Yayati. What happened at the end? He was regretting at the end that I wasted my whole life, and even he took the youth of his son also, and after all this, enjoyment, he was never satisfied. So what is the use of this temporary enjoyment actually? So Brahmaji says that those who do not chant and hear about these transcendental activities are very unlucky actually, because in this material world, people say, that I love my wife, I love my son, I love my parents, I love my home, this all love. But this love is very temporary. This is not love actually. This is just lust. The real love is only, word is used only for Krishna. Because this is all lust actually in this material world. Whatever we see, that it does not actually last long. Because how much, love you can get many times, your friends love you, their parents love you, but it's a very temporary time, it's not permanent love. What when we do the devotional service, that love is very permanent for always, So whatever relationship we have, real relationship is with the devotees actually, not with the family members who are against spiritual injections. So if devotee is in our family members are devotees, that's very nice and good. But if they are not devotees, so we have to see, that where I can get the pure love only from Krishna and our acharyas, our spiritual master, and the pure souls. So that should be. So Brahmaji actually we can see that lamenting here that these people, who are passing this kind of materialistic life, so Brahmaji is lamenting for them that they are very unfortunate and should be done something for them so they can be happy. We can see example of Vasudeva Datta. He was so much, he requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that please give me the give me all the sins of all the people and give them the pure bhakti, so you take them all to the goal of Vrindavan, and I will suffer here millions and millions of years. So he was ready to suffer himself for the sake of all the sinful people. So we can see how the devotee's heart is. So this kind of lamentation Prahlad Maharaj also had in his prayers to Nrsimhadev. He said there is very nice verses. So one or two we will see which gives the description of this material life and what is the importance of the spiritual life. So Prahlad Maharaj says, Navo dvije paraturate ya vetaranyas त्वदीय गायन महामृतमग्न चित्त सोचे ततो विमुख चेतस इंद्रियार्थ माया सुखाय भरमु द्वहेतुम विमूढ़ान. So here it says that vimukha chetas indriyartha, because they are so much attached to their senses, indriya, then they get vimukh. Vimukh means against. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying here that I am not at all afraid of material existence. And wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in the thoughts of your glories and activities. But he is concerned only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans that how I can enjoy this material world, how I can be happy in this material world, and how I can maintain this family, my families, my society, my country. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that I'm simply concerned about them. So we can see that pure devotee's heart, they have so much compassion for the materialistic people that somehow or the other they should get out of these miseries. And the only way is chanting and hearing. These are the most important part of the devotional service. And Prabhupada actually taught us so much and gave so much importance that these two activities, chanting and hearing, are so important in our spiritual life that, and we should actually preach as many people as possible to engage in this activity rather than keep suffering in this material world. So these materialistic people, we can see that they are always agitated in this material world. They are never happy. Why? Because this material world, we can see this is designed only to give the pain and miseries, sufferings. There is nothing else. You do anything in this material world and you will get suffering. If you get enjoyment, it's so temporary, it goes in little while and nothing there. So we can see here, Prahlad Maharaj saying, so tato vimukha chetas indriyartha. So why they are turned against you? What is the reason why they are turned against Krishna? Because just for the sake of sense enjoyment and to give pleasure to their senses. That's why they are. And what kind of pleasure they want to get? It is Maya Sukha. It's not real happiness. It's a Maya, it's illusion. So for the illusion only, they are giving up their bhakti and they engage in this maya sukh, illusory happiness, not the real happiness. It is not real. For the sake of this illusory happiness, they want to get some kind of pleasure to their senses. They have turned against the Supreme Lord. And in this process, they are trying to get the happiness, which is not existing actually. So what they do actually to get that happiness, they put lot of burden on their shoulders, lot of responsibility. So it is used here, bharama udva, unnecessary burden of responsibilities. Like we can see the people get up early in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock, go to work, it takes 2 hours to reach to work, and then work their whole day and come 2 hours to come back in the evening time. So this kind of work, they work more worse than a donkey. So what is the sense working so hard? So they are actually fools. Instead of coming to Krishna, what they are doing, they are burden themselves down with unnecessary things. That's why Prabhupada uses the word unnecessary necessities. We take so many things, in the house also we see we buy one after other. And they are many times, if you think, do I really need it? If you question yourself, then you will think, no, I could have lived without that. But one after other, keep throwing the things, keep buying the new things, new gadgets, So this is going on in our life. So those kind of people, and then are maintaining that kind of family, we work hard, more and more hard work. And then what happens? Then our life is overburdened. Then to make the money, then we take more and more responsibility. And that way we go against Krishna consciousness actually. If we want to stay in Krishna consciousness, then we have to actually see what is good for me. So many times we are unable to take spiritual life because we feel that we are overburdened by many, many responsibilities. And how I can have time to perform these Krishna conscious activities, 2 hour chanting, 16 rounds chanting. Oh, it will be too hard for me. And people think, that I do not have time for chanting. I do not have time for associating the devotees. So actually, they are so busy with this kind of material activities. And that's why they do not want to take any responsibility for Krishna consciousness. And just for the sake of filling their belly, we do not need anything too much. And belly will be fulfilled anyway, because we can see the life of ant to the elephant. We can see Krishna feeds everybody. So if we chant Krishna's name, why he will not fill up our belly? We don't have full faith in Krishna. And that is our problem, that we have to work so hard like that. Lord actually has given us lot of everything, what we need for our life. But like Prabhupada is writing here, Krishna has given us everything for everybody's need, but he has not given everything for everyone's for greed. Because only few people are so much greedy that they want to collect everything. We can see only 5% rich people, they have 95% of the money. So we can imagine, how people are greedy. They want to control everything, and they want to enjoy, but they don't enjoy. They are in miserable shape, actually, who collect this kind of thing. That's why in Ishopanishad, Rup Goswami says, that whatever is in our quota, we should take not more than a single penny above that, that whatever we need, we should take, and rest we should give up. So for the service of the Krishna. So that thing is very important instructions. And people are so greedy in this material world. They want to control everything. And that's why everyone is suffering. There is another for material pleasure, Prahlad Maharaj has other prayers here. Yanmai thunadi grahamedi sukham hitucham kanduya nena karayo riva dukkha dukkham trapyanti neha krapana bahu dukkha bhaja Kandutivan manasijam vishaheta dhira. So here we can see that how Prabhupada is putting in the purport the sex life is compared with the rubbing of the two hands to relieve the itch. So this is just like all our material needs are actually just like itching. So this is the shloka, what describes how what the Grahamedis do actually, how they have no spiritual knowledge at all, and how they think that this each is the greatest platform for me, for my happiness, for me to enjoy. And that's why they are busy whole day and night in this activity just to satisfy their itching. Actually, this itching is not source of happiness, it is source of distress in our life. Because those people are actually, Prabhupada is writing, they are fools because they are never satisfied with this repeated sensual enjoyment. We can see how people enjoy the same thing again and again, chewing the chewed, but they are never happy. So why they keep doing it? If they are not happy, then they should give up and take up Krishna consciousness, but they still don't want to take it. But here he says that people who are dhira, who are sober people, they are not subjected to such that kind of suffering. And why they are not subjected to that kind of suffering? Because they have taken the Krishna consciousness. They have taken shelter of a guru and Vaishnavas and Lord of Krishna. So that way they never suffer, they never feel any pains in their life. So this, our mind actually has all the desires. Keep collecting, keep collecting. So this mind is actually compared by our acharyas like a juicer. Like in the juice, we put apple. What we get? Apple juice. If you put orange, what we get? Orange juice. Similarly, we put grapes there. What we get? Grape juice. So whatever we put in, we get same thing. So in our mind also, mind is just like that, juicer. So in the mind, what we are seeing, we are watching so much TV, so many billboards, so many bad literature. What will come out of that? Only we want that kind of thought will come, that kind of desire will come. If we have desire to serve Krishna, then if we read Bhagavatam every day, then that kind of desire will come that let me serve Vaishnava, let me serve Krishna, let me make him happy. But we all are putting, right from childhood, we can see little child, the phone is in their hand and how they are watching the games. They're watching the games, people are shooting and they play the games, and then that kind of garbage is in their mind, and then when they get older, they shoot each other. So that thing is going on. So that's why I have heard many, many classes, they say garbage in, garbage out. So whatever garbage we put in, then it comes out later on. So it says gigo effect, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So we have to avoid this kind of effect. We should not put any garbage in our brain. And that way we can avoid this sensual enjoyment, sensual sense of gratifications. If we put good things in our mind, if we hear many, many classes, hear our acharyas, hear Prabhupada's, read Prabhupada's books, chant Krishna's name, then we are not putting any garbage in our mind, then all good things will come out of that. Because in this material world, we all go behind puja, pratishtha, lalach. So these things, our fame, adoration, recognition, these things actually bother us so much in our life that we just try to be recognized, we try to be worshipped, we try to have followers. So then, if we want to avoid these things, then we have to control our sense of gratification. So our thoughts actually comes from the mind, what we actually put in our mind. So actually we have to purify our mind. Whatever happens so far, we cannot avoid that. But from now onwards, we should actually not put any garbage in our mind and try how it's not very hard actually. Heart is very like contaminated with all the dirt accumulated in many, many millions and millions of lifetime. But it can be cleansed if we actually try to hear properly. Krishna consciousness literature we read and hear. In Krishna book, in the preface, Prabhupada writes very nice slok in the preface. It's taken from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 1. It says, Nirvitta Tesher Upagiya Manat Bhava Aushadam Chotra Manoviramat Uttama Shloka Gunanuvadat Puman Virajet Pina Pashubna. Pashubna means our life. If we live without the glorification of Supreme Lord, it is just our life will be like an animal. Like animals also do eating, mating, sleeping. So these all the activities human beings are also doing the same way. But if persons who are glorifying the Supreme Lord and they perform these activities in the parampara system, they conveyed from the spiritual master to the disciples. So such glorification of the Lord is Gunani Vada Uttam Shloka. Uttam Shloka means Lord Krishna. Gunani Vada means that his glories. It works like a Bhava Aushadam, Bhava Aushadi, like a greatest medicine actually for the glorification released by those who are no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. So people who glorify this material world, it's a great medicine about hearing and chanting the Krishna's name. This is the great medicine to treat them. And so therefore, who will stop this kind of glorification of the Lord? Only fool or a butcher actually can stop this kind of like not doing this kind of nice activities, hearing the glories of the Lord, or the person who are killing themselves. This kind of person only will not hear Lord's glory. Otherwise, everybody else will be hearing the glories of the Lord. So that's why hearing the glories of the Supreme Lord and chanting is so important in our life. And if we do the chanting with great attention, so that's why it is like 11th that we should not be 11th apara, that if chanting should be not inattentive, actually it should be with great attention. Attention means inattention means we are, if we do inattentively, then we will be in a great tension on the life. That's why tension means anxieties. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Mukti, Bhakti Mukti, Siddhi Kami, Sakala Ashant, Krishna Bhakta, Nishkam, Atayo Shant. So actually, these all people who are bhukta, mukta, want liberation, siddhi, they want that mystic powers, those kind of people, they all are ashant. They are always unhappy. Only the Krishna Bhakta, they are nishkam. They don't have any material desires. That's why they are shant. So this is the greatest thing that Prabhupada has given us so nice process, and especially morning hours, like from Mangal Arti till the Bhagavatam class, from 4:30 to 9 o'clock. All the devotees in the temple, they are so busy. We have so many temples now, Krishna conscious temples. We can participate in these activities and can see actually. So this is in the Kali Yuga, this is the greatest worship, Nam Sankirtan, because in Bhagavad Gita also it says, Tesham satat yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. So we have to, because many times we do chanting, but we feel, that this is not that effective. Why? Because we are not attentively doing it. If we do attentive chanting, actually, we get immediate effect. So we have to chant priti purvakam with great love and affection to Krishna's name and try satatam. Satata means uninterrupted bhakti. That's what we need actually. Because after doing chanting for so many years, we are still in misery. Why? Because we are not doing it properly. So we have to learn actually how we can do it properly. And then we can see the effect of that. Because even we can see in Bhagavatam in 10th canto 6th chapter that even Rohini Mataji and Yashoda Mata and all the Varishta gopis, they were asking Krishna that you are protecting all these three words. You have so much energy, but your name is more potent than yourself. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Namna Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. Krishna has invested all his energy in his name. So his name, so even Yashoda Maya and Rohini Mata is telling Krishna that your name is more potent than yourself. So they say that whenever there is any vipatti, when any trouble comes, then we just recite your name, chant your name, and immediately we can see the effect, That's why even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to come in the form of, Krishna has to come in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to become a devotee and enjoy that thing, Krishna himself cannot enjoy, but he came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he enjoyed the what is the power of the name, what is the power of the bhakti, and how the devotees enjoy. So devotees enjoy more than Krishna. That's why Krishna has to come. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu came in this world, they put whole world into the ocean of happiness, Ananda Kunde. So there is ocean of Ananda in the name of Krishna. So we have to take advantage of this name. And in the Dwapar Yuga, whatever Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita and everything, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in Kali Yuga and practically showed us all how we can actually get this kind of bhakti. Practically, we can do that. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it very easy for all of us. And Prabhupada so nicely went to town and town and opened so many centers for this whole world. And we can see the effect now. The Krishna consciousness is going in each town and village. I go in even small villages and people are familiar with Hare Krishna. When they say, devotees, they always say Hare Krishna. So we can see actually how this process, which is given by Srila Prabhupada to all of us, is actually working, and it will work for 10,000 more years. So, but sometimes, we think, that even we don't do it properly this lifetime, then we will get another human life. But Kali Yuga, we should see that how the Kali Yuga is actually deepening so fast. Effect of Kali Yuga is coming so fast. So when we come, more Kali Yuga will come, and more Maya will catch our leg, pull our leg. So if we can do much more in this lifetime only, then we should not think about next life, because we think, oh, let me just learn a little bit this life, and then maybe next life I will learn, and next life I will learn. Then that will not work actually. Sometimes we do so little bhakti, not bhakti. Sometimes it is just like a kind of the good activity, So sukarma. So after with that, sometime we can end up in the Swarga lok. And in the Swarga, the life is so long. So by the time after all the pious activities goes away, we come back, this 10,000 years of the golden era will go away. Then when we come back, then Ghor Kali Yuga will be here. And we will be suffering more and more. We will never catch Krishna consciousness in that way. So it is best for us to take full advantage of this Krishna consciousness activities and take full shelter of Srila Prabhupada and pure devotees, and read the Acharya's book. Jiva Goswami wrote so many books, and all other Acharya Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they were so great souls, but they gave up everything for Krishna's sake, and they showed us practically how we can do it, and we should take full advantage of that. So I will end here. Anybody has any questions, comments, we can discuss it. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for giving me this great opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam and read this nice chapter about Brahmaji's prayers. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you very much for the class. Nice class. Yes, we have to be very, I don't know how to tell that. We have to very concentrating, chanting the things, Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we will end here today then. Nobody has any other comments?
I don't know.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.